hits record, I'll say hi. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to the O365 Pulse show today. We have the whole team here. Not many updates coming out of Microsoft this week, so we will have a pretty quick show today. In fact, I think we're probably going to be in the 5 to 10 minutes. So we will I guess just kind of jump right into it. So in development, let's see if there's anything super great coming there. There was only like one that I saw that was kind of exciting or relevant, and that was pinning team apps in more places. So administrators can now pin team apps more broadly across Microsoft Teams. That's going to just make it easier for organizations to find the apps that are relevant to them, or, especially when you're first getting started with Teams, being able to find things pinned in a place. That's one of the things that I think is a little overwhelming in Teams. If you all of a sudden have a ton of teams, then it's like, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? So I think being able to pin those apps is super, super helpful. So that was one thing I saw that was in development. How about you guys? Was there anything in development that you guys thought was pretty interesting or worth kind of chatting through?
Go for it, Adam. I'll clean up on this one.
Sure. I thought it was kind of interesting. So they announced a new advanced threat protection feature that they're calling the Rescue Portal. And it's kind of an interesting concept. It's basically, up until now, they've been blocking stuff that they deemed malicious and you wouldn't want to get to your users. And they basically say in the update that they realize in certain scenarios, they've had requests from admins that they want some of that to go through. Whether it's they just insist, oh no, we know who's sending it, it's not malicious, it's fine, we want it to go to our users. Or maybe it's like, well, we want our user to see a phishing message so that way, they can see what it looks like and we're going to tell them beforehand. But basically they're doing this advanced threat protection rescue portal that's going to give admins the opportunity in a limited fashion to basically go in and select release stuff that they have deemed as malicious or unwanted to go to your users. So if you want to send your users phishing messages, you'll be able to do that. I don't know. It seemed interesting, but I guess I can see for training and educational purposes, or if you just think there's a false positive, some reasons why you may want to actually do this. So that's coming.
Makes sense. There were a couple things that I saw towards the end of the list there that I thought were interesting. One being poll features being added to Outlook. Where this is an add-in that's going to be pre-installed to Outlook for Windows, which means you don't have to go do the quick poll add-in, buy it from or get it from the store, upload it, apply it. And sometimes, at least in our environment, trying to get things from the store with add-ins can be kind of laborious, and half the time it's like it's just not even worth it to go through that process. So I'm happy to see that that's going to be part and parcel of the default rollout. The other thing that I thought was interesting that I hadn't heard anything about, but could be advantageous, and that is the version history in desktop.
Yeah.
So now it's telling us that you will be able to view and restore previous versions of your files directly in your desktop via your file browser or Mac Finder. So this is designated for OneDrive for Business. I just think that being able to have some of those features that you would normally have to go into the browser to look for version history and stuff, being able to do it just with File Explorer is like, wow, that kind of changes things a lot. So I'm really interested to see how that works. Yeah, so looking forward to seeing that one roll out and seeing what it looks like in reality.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I'll be interested to see how that one works, because I still get questions on that a lot, especially if we have a contract library where there's a statement of work template and it constantly is getting
overwritten all the time.
and because they can't do it in the client, I'm constantly getting, hey Jen, will you go back in and fix this? And I just go into the version and just go back. But I think if they could do that in a client, it would potentially be a lot easier for folks. So I'm excited to see how that one works. I hope it's super easy. Super easy to do.
Yeah, so last one real quick, at least for my side, it's just probably worth noting we've mentioned multiple times the compliance manager because they announced it in public preview back in November. Well, they updated the roadmap this week to basically say next month, so come April, they expect it to be hitting general availability for people. So putting an actual launch date on it to move it outside of preview and make it generally available. So if you're someone that's been looking forward to getting the compliance score but maybe have a a lockdown tenant where you're waiting till everything gets to GA, gets to general availability. Looks like they're planning on having that next month. So I know we all kind of feel compliance manager is going to be a good thing and make it easier for a lot of folks. So just figured I'd give an update on that one as well.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, moving on to rolling out, the one I think there's a couple in here that are a little bit exciting, but one that I think is super exciting is the reply all storm protection. This is the one that I kind of marked as our play of the week this week, but this is the one where if a reply all storm starts, it's going to get kind of automatically stopped, and they're going to put some timers in to delay the sending of messages. And if I try to do a reply all to everybody, it's going to send a non-deliverable message back to me and say, hey, you really shouldn't do a reply all on an email that's this large, and it's going to let admins go in and fix that experience. And so I think this is great because we all have those reply all experiences that are train wrecks that you cannot help but watch. So I'm excited that this is rolling out. So I think this is a good one.
From my standpoint, there were a couple on the list that I think are interesting. One is PDFs and scans included in recent views. So in your OneDrive for Business, in your recent list, it's going to be showing your uploaded scans and recently viewed PDFs in your items that have recently been looked at. I'm a little surprised. I thought those would have been there to begin with, but apparently they are going to be there now, and they weren't before, so that's good. The other one that we've talked about before and that I've really been wanting to see, and apparently it's been pushed out a number of times, and that is the OneDrive for Business Save for Later. So you can bookmark these files that you want to be able to go back and look at a future point in time, and OneDrive will put it in a Save for Later category, which makes it very easy to say, hey, I need to go back and look at these items, didn't have time to do it right now. Or in my case, like bookmarks, I'm going to collect that for later. I'm never going to read it, but I'm going to collect that for later. I really want to see that one because I think that's going to help me a lot in things that I run across during the course of the day that I can just pop over to an area to say I need to go back and read these at a later date, and I have them all condensed into one place. So
Tom's a big Pokemon fan. Got to collect them all.
No, well, funny, I had never thought about that because I'm not a Pokemon person, but yeah, that does actually apply very well to this.
Oh, the gamer Adam.
The final thing I'll say, just because I thought that this particular update, one part of it was cool. We mentioned in previous shows they're coming out with a new background image on the login screen. Not a big deal, but that's rolling out now this month, so you should see it. But they note in the update, and this is the first time I've seen this, the new image is 1% the size of the previous image. So if you have like bad bandwidth or in the boonies somewhere, this is a conscientious decision they are making to make it easier to go through the load-in screen. So one, you'll probably see a new load-in screen coming in, but I thought it was kind of a cool snippet of information that it's rather purposefully 1/100th of the size of what the previous one was.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it in something I had read. It's kind of this very generic, randomish.
They didn't waste a lot of pixels in it.
Yeah, they didn't. It's kind of like, I'm just going to repeat this pixel over and over and over again. So it's not a picture of anything. It's just kind of a colored background with very little distinction in it, which is probably how they got down to the 1%. So
very cool. Well, cool. Well, moving on to launched. There's some interesting things here. I'll start off with one for GCC, GCC High, and DoD. This is about Microsoft Teams, and it's for phone system editions. This is going to be great for those that are waiting on some of these things for Teams. There's 5 editions for the phone systems to help enhance Teams calling, which basically means it's getting Teams calling ready to work in your environment. Teams calls are going to be able to screen share to Skype for business users. Callers can transfer directly to voicemail. Caller IDs for Teams. GCC users can use the power/command bars to make PSTN calls, and GCC users of Teams and Chromes can send and receive video calls. So these are probably, some of the last things that are going to be there to make Teams truly a replacement for Skype for Business for you. So I'm excited to see those launched in GCC, GCC High, and DoD. So always excited to see those government tenants getting some extra special love there. So excited to see all of that launch. So how about you guys? What do you see? Anything exciting there?
I don't have anything because this is all GCC/admin-y stuff. So
Yeah, so
Go
I'll
for
throw,
it.
I'll throw out an admin one just because I saw this and thought it was cool. So the new service health dashboard to allow you to report outages is launching. I know we briefly talked about this, but it's a cool concept. I can guarantee you there's been multiple times over the last 6, 7 years, whatever, that I've been working with various clients where they are down, they're having an outage, and you go to the service health dashboard and all green lights and everything's hunky dory, and the client's just like, what? And so it's one of those things that previously, if you wanted to do this, you then have to go through and call or open up a ticket and hope it would get through. And unless you were like burning your premiere hours and doing like a Seve case, you probably weren't getting a quick, timely reply. So they're basically putting in this new system where if you go to the service health dashboard and you don't see an incident, but you think you're down and impacted, it's a very easy way that you can go in and report. I see this twofold. I think this will get Microsoft aware of the situation a lot earlier because they're not having to wait on their support reps to process the tickets or the issues coming in from people. And two, I think that this will also make it easier for you to see that impact to you as a client. So kind of a cool thing from an admin perspective. Hopefully what this change is going to do is just make it so you are aware earlier if there's an incident going on, and Microsoft has a better feedback loop on their side too. So happy to see it.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, I think that really wraps us up for this week. There's just not that much going on, but that's okay. 'Tis the season. We're coming upon May where there are 2 major conferences going. We have Build, we have SharePoint conference. There's a big FedRAMP cycle in April for GCC. So there's just a lot going on this time of year. So we tend to see this in the roadmap. We'll probably see a lot of things hitting development and then launched and then rolled out like probably immediately. Like potentially some stuff we will see hit launch that we've never seen in development. It's just kind of the cycle that happens at this point in the game. So we'll be watching it for you guys, and we'll have another show next week. So this week was a little bit small, but we'll see what's coming up. Is there any other Microsoft news that you guys have out there that you guys want to share, or anything interesting going on? I don't really have too much or anything that I've really seen going on.
Stay safe and use hand sanitizer. Wash your hands well.
Yes, sing happy birthday twice. All right, everybody. Well, we will see you next week. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.